Happy Halloween. Top 20 video game Halloween music chosen by our wonderful producers of the show, Rudy, Big Boss, Claudio, Chris, Prince, El Azul, and more. Rasher. That's one. This is from Luigi's Mansion, but our first choice, chosen by the people, is, I love the name of this track, Dead Beat, from Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse. Classic NES track, really making use of every instrument available, making the bass catchy, the two melody lines catchy. It's interesting, there's no drums or anything in it, but everything is very rhythmic. So everything is contributing to the overall experience of the track, filling in for the different instruments that they can't fit it in because it's an old NES chip, or whatever you call that thing. The old NES console. On the borderline between fun and sinister. Yeah, it's got a fun, kind of bouncy beat, but it's using some of those scales and notes that make you feel like, ooh, something kind of... Like, if you played it a little differently, it would sound sad, or, be depressing, it'd be a very down piece. But because they're doing it with this sort of like... and kind of some soaring melody lines, it becomes a little more spooky, a little more goofy, a little more safe. And like Castlevania is all the theme of it is very sort of like dark and gothic and haunted, but it's also quite a colorful game, and it's fun. It's always been really fun, and when you play very powerful characters as well. Great for a spooky mansion, absolutely, Rudy. Killer track, nice one to start with, and you can't get a better pun than that, Dead Beat. Let us go with another classic piece. This is Type A from Tetris, but is the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate arrangement. Arrangement supervisor, Yoko Shimomura. I'm ready. word, what a treat that is. Yoko Shimomura providing the classical arrangement of that with her unparalleled in the video game industry, music world, her control of orchestras and how she, stunning, absolutely crisp. You know what I love is when she's got all these kind of, when these big parts come up, and it just sounds like there's so many pieces, and you got left and right with the drum, boom, bam, boom, bam, like the stereo panning of it, and when you have these different like cymbal hits, these like, psh, 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 psh. To me it sounds like the pieces are just falling at a rapid pace, and things are being cleared. And she can make this puzzle theme sound so great. It was always a fantastic, great sort of Russian folksy, simple song, but she's so great at never forgetting what makes the song its core and what makes the song so good on its own, while also adding flourishes that completely enhance it and fill in. And it's such a great pick for a Halloween song. It has that same kind of like spooky but fun vibe. We're doing kind of like spooky minor key things, and I guess probably some like diminished scales in there. Just making things sound very dramatic, but also really fun. Dramatic and fun seems to be what makes for a good Halloween piece. Oh! Unbelievable. Another Yoko Shimomura track. This is Halloween from Kingdom Hearts 2. Great track. Just such a subtle and clever use, such an elegant use of all these instruments. And we've got like another one that sounds like it could be sort of Eastern European folksy, kind of like that little oompa loompa. And when you think of, some kind of backwater Eastern European place, makes you think of, say, like Transylvania, something where vampires and wolves might be having some kind of a bar mitzvah or something. Just really nice, simple melodies that feel kind of like folksy and feel sort of charming and fun. But then she does a lot of modulation just to make sure that those simple melodies don't get too boring. It feels like you're sort of constantly progressing and things are sort of evolving, like if nighttime hit in Halloween and all of a sudden people were transforming. A great track. Bit of Christmas? Yeah, there's a bit of like Jingle Jingle. From Kingdom Hearts foray into The Nightmare Before Christmas, we are going into Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge. The music.
just give up. Surrender!
It's over! It's over! Your scheme was bound to fail! It's over! You're finished here! Your next stop will be jail!
He mocks me. He fights me. I don't know which is worse. I might just split a seam now if I don't die laughing first.
What's this, a trick? I'm not impressed. You're bad and now you're tall. It makes it all the more worthwhile to see a giant fall.
Talk, but I tell you, this giant's going nowhere. If I were you, I'd take a hike. There's danger in the air.
This is a really, really impressive track. I've never heard of this game. Never the song. The composers are Kengo Hagiwara, Masaya Tsunemoto, Ken Page, Chris Sarandon. Developed by Capcom. Interesting. Oh, so this really is Devil May Cry for kids. This is like them taking what they had worked on in Devil May Cry and sort of packaging it up in a different way. Really fun track. Again, I love the like soaring strings, the like towers of string and piano, and those really low. You know when you're doing the low bass or low piano, boom, 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 boom. Really sounds like a JRPG boss fight. Gives it a real kind of evil, sinister, like something is kind of brewing underneath. The game is supposed to act as a sequel to the original movie. That happened with the Ghostbusters game as well. That was apparently as close as they ever got to a great version of Ghostbusters 3. That was a very nice surprise. Best surprise so far. Oh man, I love that. Just like luscious bass underneath. This next one is from Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon Haunted Towers, composed by Chad York, Darren Radke, and Mike Peacock. We listened to a bunch of Luigi's Mansion before the show started. Now this is from Dark Moon. Luigi. I love the way those drums go, and they have that thing in the offbeat where it's like boom, 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 boom. Sort of catches you off guard, pushes you up a bit. Beautiful vibes or marimbas. I can never tell those apart. And just like a real kind of simple, like big low. What is that? A cello? Bum, 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 bum. There's lots of space in between all the different riffs. Definitely an on your way to a MacGuffin feel. Oh, totally. Yeah, this has got that. It's got that exotic feel, like you're exploring something ancient, a different civilization about to discover a magical MacGuffin that'll allow you to get to the next magical MacGuffin place. Nice epic feel. This is done on a 3DS. Pretty impressive. Okay, I don't recognize this at all. This is called Kingsley's Adventure for the PS1. The track is called Snuffs Cave, the dungeon of Poor Luck Village. Ooh. Track. It's sort of like a bit of like a mournful, one of the more sadder tracks, but like we were saying with all the other ones, it kind of has this sort of like sad, melancholy melodies, but a fun beat underneath. And again, this one, especially in that second piece, just totally changes up the rhythm and goes for a really bouncy, swinging synth bass underlay that just really propels it, makes it so fun. Which is so cool because you have this part here that's more like, it's got that like futuristic typewriter, tapata, seems almost like kind of cyberpunky. The bass and short digital scratchy notes. Yeah, that gives it the Neo Tokyo vibe, yeah. I think we were just talking about the exact same thing at the exact same time. Spooky! Alright, you're probably thinking out there, this is for babies, this is for kids. Oh my god, when you play something from a real scary game, something like The Evil Within. This is The Carousel. Sounds like the last song. It sounds like it's whimsical but broken down, as if this is something that was played hundreds of years ago and you've entered into a place where it's long been abandoned, cobwebs, spooky, but then it's suddenly brought to life. Scratchy, Demented, warped, twisted, but fueled with the life of the night. Brought to you by All Hallows Eve and the magic of burning pumpkins. Welcome, Burak Astaf. Salam alaikum, brother or sister. What a fun track. I think we're going to be hearing a lot of waltz. Waltz kind of gives it this sort of romantic but sad but fun. Because when you do with a waltz, you can have things that sound sadly melodic but are whimsical and interesting in nature, which works so well when you're trying to be spooky. Lots of Nintendo today. This is from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It is called Twisted Mansion. Yeah, Rudy, the classic theremin for the because it's got that singular high-pitched note that doesn't really sound like a human, so it could sound ghostly, and you're controlling with just your arms, so it has this slide effect, right? It's not individual notes being pressed or frets on a guitar. Just it works so well, and it's spooky. It's not terrifying. It's not like something you'd hear in Silent Hill or Resident Evil really trying to scare the crap out of you. It's a spooky, it's a very fun pick for a track like this. Big Boss Steve is home. Beautiful. And a bit of like a military snare drum, which is kind of nice. It gives it a bit of like a start and a stop. Boom, 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 boom. And of course a big organ. What's spookier than a big organ? Lots of low piano, boom, bam, bam, the bass notes. And I love those sort of like, those different orchestral pits that are sort of like a little higher up, like lots of xylophone, which kind of makes it sound like you're playing a skeleton's bones. Make sure it doesn't get a boner. Rudy thinks the next song's going to be a little different from the majority of the picks today. Interesting, you think you know which one's going to be next. Let's see if you're right about that, my friend. This track is from one of the games that I've never beaten, but have played the first quarter of and really, really liked and like to dive into. It is from Rockstar Games, Bully. The track is Halloween. Oh! Oh, yeah, Chris. The bass in Bully is it's like a character of its own. It's such a star in the Bully soundtrack. The Bully soundtrack, a lot of it is this sort of campy 60s kind of spy theme. A lot of sort of like, I love that bass. It's that kind of like, it's really dry and kind of like rocking. Probably played on a jazz bass or something. Hard with a pick. And they have a lot of the actual music behind the Bully bass and drums is pretty similar to a lot of the music we were hearing in the other Halloween tracks. You know, like this spooky kind of theremin stuff. Lots of orchestral pieces, xylophone stuff, you know, playing the skeleton's boner. And but it's that beat and that rhythm and that swag and that rock star drip. I love that one. The reverb on the harpsichord hitting every single note on the way down. Oh yeah, this is the coolest Harry Potter game. Bully and Persona. I knew that one was coming up faster. Yeah, Bully and Persona 4 are the Harry Potter games that never got made. Beautiful. This next one is from the NES/SNES throwback platformer Shovel Knight. The song is La Danse Macabre, Lich Yard, from Shovel Knight. Yeah. God, good Lord, listen to those people just shredding. The whole OST of this is so bloody good. They try to stay really true to the sounds of that era, but they're not limited by the era. They can have it, they can have more pieces. They can have them sounding fuller. Oh my God. The arrangement of this, the composition of it, it's just so epic and so rockin'. I love here when it switches to halftime. Oh, this is so good. Man, I'd love to watch the Mercado Brothers band or somebody just rip this thing. Rip it up. I think that I'd want to watch, not a metal version of it, like a rock cover of it. But I always find when they just do everything on the distorted guitars, everything sounds the same, There's something about when you play with these chips, all the different instruments really have their own kind of character, their own soul, their own timbre. Whereas when you just kind of throw everything through the same distortion, it's like, yeah, you can shred really fast, you can do cool solos, but it ends up just being really samey. Whereas this is just, I mean, this is, talk about lush. So much personality, character, so much soul. What a bloody track. Good God. This is a game and a franchise that shows up a lot on our top 20 list that I am not really familiar with the music or really the game at all, but it makes me want to check it out. This is Darkest Night, Village of Lost Souls from Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Those are some really big fat tones. Just like nice heavy kick and snare, bass synth. Like Chris says, it sounds like the composer really wanted to work on a Castlevania game, which works for Shantae. Looks like a challenging Castlevania type platformer with a babe who's a magic genie. The font looks really cheap on it. I've never played this game. Was it like a mobile game? What's it? This looks like it makes it look like an Asian mobile game. Sadly, for this composer, Castlevania have their own sound team. Works really well for the game. More like they shoved the Arabian theming into a Castlevania soundtrack. Yeah, and then made it bounce like her booty. The first one was on the Game Boy? Oh, okay. Gotta give it a try. I love a good platformer. Who wouldn't want a little Shantae in your pocket? Alright, this one is very on brand for our theme from MediEvil 2. This is Whitechapel. pistol. I love the way this guy runs. With the high knees. Great for the cardio. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was a big remake of this. There was that whole phase where it was Sonic Mania, then there was the Crash Bandicoot trilogy being remade, Spyro getting remade, MediEvil. They're really just going, what else can we resurrect that these people grew up with? Sitting by the fire, eating my black cat with some sweets. What is with the cover? Why is it a skull on a hand? Why is he missing his body? In the game, he has his legs. He's doing his high top runs. He's getting great height. Those knees are high. I don't know why he's worried about getting fat, though. Doesn't have any skin. Another franchise that consistently makes an appearance on these top 20 lists, Pokemon, the Pearl version. This is Old Chateau, Send-Off Spring, and New Moon Island. Super Mario 3? The Fortress? Bum 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 bum. Bum bum bum. It's that warbling that really makes it sound very Halloween-y. Yeah, so the main driving force of the piece is that piano, but there's so much room in between everything the piano's doing. Boom, bang, dong, da. And there's so much of that like nice Halloween-y, spooky kind of warbling. Whoa, whoa, and lots of spooky stuff kind of in between. It almost sounds like in between the cracks there's spirits that are releasing. Like you could see a ghostly, looks like a sheet on a ghost flying up into the sky. Whoa. Coming down through the clouds in front of the new moon on New Moon Island as you battle the pitch-black mythical Pokemon, Darkrai. The great thing about all these Halloween tracks is they're so fun and they're so, like, dancey, you know? Now that you're... Yeah. I don't know much about this Wuppo, but it works really, really well. Nice, fun, bouncy, big bass. Hardly any drums, which gives it sort of a retro feel. Like it could have been played on an NES or something. Especially with those sort of like singing, kind of ringing, very pure, higher synth lines. And then you got like a spooky laugh in the background. Surprisingly comforting track. Yeah, totally. But I guess that works with the look at the game of it being maybe a challenging platformer, but everything is bright, colorful, and soft. Yeah, I recognize the name Wuppo. It has a very, very strong musical background, stuff that works well on a show like this, stuff that is good to be listened to on its own. It's a nice track. Our next one, it's from Ape Escape 2, so it's got to be picked by Chris. This is Castle Frightmare. Yeah, Chris, there's something about that, the way that it is on the beat and very methodical, like boom, 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 which makes it sound a little more quirky, a little more cute, as opposed to just like a, you know, it's not like it's not trying to race forward. It's really taking its time. It's kind of soaking it in. It's trying to set the tone. It's a little more atmospheric. It's a little more quirky. Yeah, it sounds like the way a cat would walk, you know, very like precise. Like I'm going to put my foot here, I'm going to put my paw here, I'm going to walk around this, I'm going to push this glass off the table. Or like little spiders building their webs and dangling, weightless, elegant, and deadly. But mostly cute. Can't kill me, most spiders. Here's a big track from a big game. Well, I don't know if it's a big track, I can't remember. But it is from definitely a big game. That game is Super Mario Galaxy. This is Ghostly Galaxy. Some more theremin, some more delicate orchestration. A lot of space, a lot of reverb. A fun track. Kind of sad, but also whimsical. And another waltz theme. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The Mario Galaxy soundtrack is so beautiful. Nintendo, they can be funny where they decide to put their money into things. As we've seen with, this is going to date the show if anybody watches this in the future, but as we saw with the N64 emulation on the Switch, you never know what they're going to put their money into. Sometimes they go for orchestral bits, sometimes they just hire one single orchestral player to play over MIDI. This is a fun little mix with that bit of synth bass underneath that the 3D Mario games were using for a lot of their boss themes and more sinister moments. It's a lot of that kind of violin hinting at being kind of evil, but still nice. All of it feels very friendly and comforting. Halloween. It's for kids and fun. So, our next track. This should help cheer us up from the pain of Nintendo's failed emulation on their own consoles. This is Sly Hunter Haunting Ground, the Chicago Awaza mix. Prince track. Those cymbals sound so crazy. That was that. So the track is called Sly Hunter. So is this when maybe some kind of character, the Sly Hunter, appears and starts chasing you around a claustrophobic haunted mansion of some kind? Whoa, whoa. Okay, so you take drugs in this game to calm you down? I can't believe all those cymbals. It's hilarious. It really sounds like, oh my god, something terrible's coming after me and smashing through all the doors I'm closing behind me as I run away. Super tense. You would want so badly to get to a point where whatever's chasing you is, how satisfying is that? That was pretty crazy. It is a really beautiful game for the PS2. It's what I would really hope the graphics would evolve to if I was a big fan of, Silent Hill or Resident Evil on the first PlayStation. This would be really impressive. Okay, all right. Now that's the Chicago Awaza mix. Is that what was actually played in the game, or is this is from Capcom? Composer Seiko Kobuchi and Shinya Okada. Anyone have any other information on that? No? Cool. Let's take another little detour as we wind down this week's show. This is from Metal Slug 3, Midnight Wandering. Got that theremin. Yeah, Chris, I totally hear that thing of the bullies. It does, because it sounds like it's sort of sinister, but it's a childish, sort of goofy sinister. You know, like really scary for an 8-year-old to be chased by an 11-year-old, but it's really just a kid. Give me that candy, kid. I'm gonna light this firework off in your face. Something went terribly wrong. The firecracker blew off that kid's finger. You're going to juvenile hall. Your life is now changed for the worse. Yeah, it's a real kind of brutal feel. Played like real kind of heavy. Clearing things out of your way. Godzilla knocking over the Twin Towers. To another classic platformer, this is Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Background music number 3, stage 1-1. Haunted Graveyard. Again, no drums, eh? Yeah, a very orchestrated vibe, like a ballroom song. Yeah, it does have a... I guess it's like the organs and the sort of whimsical nature of it. It does feel like an elegant ballroom piece. What always freaked me out about this game, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, was that the running, it felt like you were doing so much movement and you were slowly moving, and the jump was so slow and so floaty that if you and then enemies would come at you and projectiles so fast, but you didn't have the mobility, which I guess he is a guy in a suit. It's almost a very realistic game, because he's wearing a heavy suit of armor, so he's not all that mobile, even though he can double jump and wall jump. And he can only take a few hits. Very realistic when you're fighting a giant skeletal bird dragon. A nice simple loop. Feels old. Definitely feels like they're just expanding from the NES and messing around with what they can do. But no drums still. Maybe they just couldn't get a good drum sample. Maybe they thought that it wasn't needed. This is Capcom too, right? So maybe they have sort of like an internal thing of they're all sort of progressing the same way. This is from the Nintendo SMP chip, the SCP-700 core. A nice track. Oh, it was one of the first on the SNES? Ah, definitely looks and feels like it, doesn't it? It sounds like it. Yeah, that was fun back then on the NES and the Super Nintendo. The amount of technology that would evolve. I mean, when you look at the first Super Mario Brothers compared to Super Mario Brothers 3, it makes you want to blow your brains out. This will be the last one for our YouTube watchers. If you're watching the stream, it'll continue. We can choose next week's theme. This is from Super Mario 3D World Shifty Boo Mansion. nicely. What a nice epic track. Yeah, it does have that ballroom feel. 3, 1, 2, 3. And no drums to anchor it down, so it gives it a floaty feel. You can just like see the ghosts waltzing in the abandoned ballroom that is now lit up by like ethereal candles. It's so romantic too. Just my heart soars with it. What a great use of that violin too. What a nice, strong, simple melody. Wow. Beautiful stuff.